Good football morning. There's snow on the ground. It's week 14. The fantasy playoffs are just about to start. It feels like football today. It feels like football. We're here. Week 14 on the doorstep of the fantasy playoffs. This is the week. Must wins. You got to win to get in. If you're not competitive, maybe you can play spoiler with your league mates, knock them out of the playoffs. It's a fun week. But the real shit starts next week. Talked about some possible league winners that are going to be this year earlier in the week, like maybe Nick Chubb, maybe DeAndre Swift. We like Marquise Brown. Maybe he's not a league winner, but I think he's going to do damn well down the stretch in the fantasy playoffs. Not this week, but the questions are already flowing in on TikTok and YouTube, and we're going to get to it. That's what we're here for. We got about 34 minutes till kickoff. That's what we're going to do. Let's get to them. Christian Kirk or Garrett Wilson? We're going to go Garrett Wilson. Absolutely dominating. Any game that Zach Wilson isn't playing, Garrett Wilson has to be in your starting lineup. Trevor Lawrence or Jared Goff? Trevor Lawrence got the injury, obviously. Jared Goff, the Lions are favored over the Vikings today, which is kind of crazy, but it's kind of cool. So I do have Jared Goff, though. I do have him ranked ahead of Trevor Lawrence by a couple spots. Lawrence has that nice matchup against the Titans who can't stop the pass for shit. But it's still Trevor Lawrence. Has an injury. Still the Jaguars, But Jared Goff, that offense, week in, week out, is playing at a high level. It's playing at a high level. They got a healthy Swift. They got Chark is back healthy. Amon-Ra St. Brown is healthy. He had some injury issues in the middle of the season. That offense is full throttle right now. And it's exciting to watch. It's really cool to watch. It's not like the Vikings defense has been great this year. It should be a shootout. Lots of points. Lots of passing. Should I start Pacheco over Saquon because of the injury? No. If Saquon is playing, you're playing Saquon. He's playing. They cleared him to play. They said that he's good to go. I know he's 50-50 coming in. He's good to go. It was a neck injury. It's not an ankle. It's not a knee. It's not a foot. So I think as long as Saquon's playing, we're playing him. Christian Kirk or Travis Homer? We got to go Christian Kirk there. Great matchup against the Titans. That secondary cannot stop anybody. And Travis Homer's got to. I like Travis Homer this week, but he's got to share. He's got to share that backfield with Tony Jones. So we don't know how that touch distribution is going to be split up between those two. I'm starting Homer over Tony Jones just because of the PPR value. He's going to catch more passes. He's more explosive than Tony Jones. Tony Jones is your prototypical between the tackles, replacement level, first and second down, grinder back. He's not explosive. He doesn't do anything exciting. He's not great in the passing game. He's just good enough to take some carries when the depth chart is depleted by injury. That's what he's doing. David Njoku or Gerald Everett. This one. Ooh, I like this one because Njoku's back. First game with Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson knocked that rust off last week. Njoku's back in the lineup. We got Amari Cooper, who supposedly is going to be on a pitch count today. That's the reports that I'm seeing. What that means, we don't know. But it sounds like he's going to be at least somewhat limited. With that said, I'm playing Gerald Everett because if I can play anybody against the Miami Dolphins defense, with that Miami Dolphins offense, I'm doing it. It's not like the Dolphins have a terrible defense, but their offense is so good that the opposing offense is incentivized to pass the ball a ton. They have to be pedal to the metal the whole time. So we see a lot of explosive plays, a lot of fantasy points scored against the Dolphins because partly of how good their own offense is. So I do have them ranked close back-to-back, Gerald Everett over David Njoku, though. But we got to be faster with these questions, I think. Thought I saw a question while I was talking that I wanted to get to, but I lost it. That's all right. Rashad White, Zonovan Knight, James Cook. I lost that question too. There we go. Rashad White, Zonovan Knight, James Cook, or Mike Evans. We got to pick two of these guys. I'm going to go Rashad White, and I'm going to go James Cook. James Cook. We're going to do it. We're going to go James Cook. This is exciting. James Cook, last week, he played a season high 43% of the snaps, which is awesome. Led that backfield in snaps. And he was top 5 among all running backs across the league with an 18% target share. So he's getting involved heavily in the passing game, which is what we loved about him coming out of Georgia anyway. So it looks like he's playing ahead of Devin Singletary. It's still going to be a committee, but I think we got Cook over Singletary. He's much more explosive, much more skilled in the passing game than Singletary. And we know that Bills offense is a pass-first offense. So we like Cook. I want to go Cook. Mike Williams or Gabe Davis? See, Mike Williams is tough this week. I'm going to go Mike Williams because, if Mike Williams is healthy, he's good to go. We like him. But also, what we were just talking about a few minutes ago with Gerald Everett. If I have an opportunity to play a pass catcher or a runner for that matter against the Miami Dolphins, I'm playing him. So that's what I'm doing. I would go Mike Williams. Schultz or Dulcich? I'm going to go Schultz. He's just in a better offense. Dulcich is great. I mean, he had 36% target share last week? He has come on and just dominated as a rookie, but that offense is so bad that I just don't trust it. I don't trust it. So I'm playing Schultz. I've got him ranked 2 spots ahead of Greg Dulcich. ETN or Higgins in the flex. Well, we saw ETN. He was limited last week. Higgins, he had a hamstring he dealt with during the week, but he's good to go. Yeah, that one's tough. I'm going to go with Higgins. Assuming it's a PPR league. DK Metcalf or Hollywood Brown. Give me DK Metcalf. Fournette or Singletary. Give me Leonard Fournette. Pacheco or Travis Homer. I think this is a really good Pacheco week. I know the Broncos defense is solid. They're pretty good. But the Chiefs are going to lead that whole game. They don't have to drop back 50 times with Patrick Mahomes this week to beat the Broncos. They really just have to walk onto the field, and they're going to beat the Broncos. That's how freaking pathetic that Broncos offense is. So I think it's definitely a Pacheco game. They're just going to grind it out like they did a couple weeks back against the Rams. They were playing that pathetic, the Bryce Perkins game. They just gave it to Pacheco and just said, you know what? We don't need to drop back a million times. We don't need to risk Mahomes getting injured or fluky turnover shit. We're just going to lean on Pacheco. Rashad White or Devontae Smith. Yeah, that one's a tough one. Playing in the flex. I'm a huge Rashad White guy. I love Rashad White. Devontae Smith has really benefited from Dallas Goedert being out. A lot of those targets have funneled his way. Yeah, so that one's a tough one. I think we'll go Rashad White. Zonovan Knight or DJ Moore. I'm going to go DJ Moore. Like we said with Garrett Wilson before, any game that Garrett Wilson plays without Zach Wilson is good. And it seems to be the same way with DJ Moore. Any game for DJ Moore without Baker Mayfield is startable. Should I go Homer or Connor? I'm still going to go Connor. I'm going to go Connor there. Mike Williams or Ayuk? I'm going to go Mike Williams. I'm going to trust that the ankle is going to hold up. This could be an absolute blow-up spot against the Dolphins for Mike Williams. And then with Brandon Ayuk, he's got a decent matchup too, but we have to worry about like how things are going to play out with Brock Purdy at quarterback, you know? So I'll go Mike Williams. They both have their risks. Homer or Rashad White? Let's go Rashad White. Should I start DK Metcalf with him being questionable? Yeah, if DK Metcalf is one of these guys, if he plays, you're playing him. If he plays, he's playing for you. Tony Jones or Travis Homer? This is a good one. So I know the report just before we went live, Adam Schefter, Tony Jones is going to start this game. Does that really mean a whole lot? It means he's getting the first snap, right? Tony Jones, like we said a few minutes ago, is that prototypical replacement level, first and second down, between the tackles grinder. He's not explosive. He's not elusive. He's not a tackle breaker. He's not anything above average in the passing game. He doesn't bring anything to the passing game. He brings nothing to the table other than he's a guy who can handle a workload. He's a guy who can just grind out a few yards in between the tackles. He's not going to pick up extra yards. Just going to get what's there, gets what's blocked, done. And that's okay. That's what they need. That's what they need with Rashad Penny out, obviously, and Kenneth Walker out, DJ Dallas out. They just need someone who can just tote the rock. But Travis Homer has some of those special skills. Travis Homer is above average in the passing game. Travis Homer is an explosive athlete. So that's why I'm going to play Travis Homer ahead of Tony Jones, because he's going to catch the passes. He's far more likely to rip off a long run, a chunk play, than Tony Jones. So that's where I'm leaning with these Seattle running backs. Ramondre Stevenson, Dalvin Cook, or Joe Mixon. Pick two. All right. They're probably all RB1s this week, right? What are we looking at? We're looking at Dalvin Cook, Ramondre Stevenson, Joe Mixon. So I'll pull up my rankings because, like I said, those are all starters. Those are all guys I want in my lineup every week. So I have them ranked: Ramondre Stevenson, Dalvin Cook, and then there's a pretty significant drop down to Joe Mixon. It's his first game back. I know he's got a great matchup against the Browns. The Browns can't stop the run for shit. But Samaje Perine has played so well in Mixon's absence that we have to acknowledge that Perine is going to be more involved in this offense moving forward than he was prior to Mixon's concussion. And it's not like Mixon was completely lighting it up. He's been kind of inefficient this year. And I know a lot of that is the offensive line ahead of him. And he's had his games. He had that, 5-touchdown game? But Samaje Perine, he played well in Mixon's absence. So for that reason, I think we have to knock Mixon just a little bit. I still have him ranked as a top 15 running back for this week. Could have a really nice game against the Browns, but if I have the choice of starting Ramondre Stevenson and Dalvin Cook ahead of him, that's what I'm going to do. I keep saying we got to spend less time on these questions, and then I don't do it. Hollywood Brown or Deontay Foreman. I'm going to go Hollywood Brown. You know, I wanted to second guess that one, actually. You know, I think I'd go Foreman. Fuck it. Let's go Foreman. Foreman has played so well against these bad defenses when game script is in his favor. Now, we have to worry a little bit about game script with the Seahawks, but I think he'll be okay. I think he'll be close enough where they're not abandoning the run and it becomes more of a Chuba Hubbard game. So I'm going to go Foreman. Seahawks can't stop the run. I do like Hollywood Brown, though. We talked about him earlier this week. Jameson Williams, Mostert, or Josh Palmer. So Jameson Williams, great athlete, great receiver. He's going to have a great career. All right. But he came back off the ACL injury. And we talked about last week, I'm not playing it. I'm not playing Jameson Williams until I see it. Until I see that he has a full role, he's healthy, and he's productive. Why? At this time of the year, why? Why are we playing him? We're not. Like I said, we talked about this last week. This is a guy who's coming off a major injury, right? ACL reconstructive surgery. We know the deal with that. He's also a rookie. He's never played, prior to last week, he'd never played a snap in the NFL. And that includes preseason. That includes training camp. That includes OTAs. He was rehabbing during that time. He wasn't with the team practicing. He doesn't have any practice time with Jared Goff, with the starters, with that coaching staff. So we weren't playing Jameson Williams last week. He played what? 2 snaps. He ran 2 routes, 1 target, no catches. Exactly what we were expecting. And I expect that role to increase this week. Maybe he gets 10 snaps. He runs 9 routes. He gets 2 targets, 3 targets, 1 catch maybe. But until I see Jameson Williams in a full capacity, he's staying on my bench. So with that said, we're going to play Josh Palmer against the Dolphins over Jameson Williams. Pickens or Boyd? Pickens or Boyd? I think we're going to go Pickens. Remember last week, Pickens was a little upset after the game and during the game that he wasn't being involved. He wasn't targeted. And Mike Tomlin said after the game that he didn't see that as a negative. George Pickens is a competitor. He's an intense guy. He wants the ball. He wants to be a part of it. So I think this could be one of those squeaky wheel gets the grease type of games for George Pickens. They're like, we got to get this guy more involved. He's an incredible athlete. He's an incredible player. We've got to get him more involved. I forget who the other player we were looking at was. George Pickens or Tyler Boyd. So I'm looking at the rankings. I have George Pickens ranked a few spots ahead of Tyler Boyd for that reason. I'm going to go Pickens. Thoughts on Brandon Ayuk? My thoughts on Brandon Ayuk. So I'm a fan of Ayuk, in general. I have him ranked as my wide receiver 29 this week. He's got a good matchup against the Bucs, but he's got Brock Purdy as his quarterback. Now, Brock Purdy played pretty well last week. I can't help myself. He did. He played well. But this is, a 7th round rookie, the last pick of the NFL draft. Can we trust that to translate to the next week? I don't know. So I'm concerned because there's just so many weapons in that offense already as it is. We had to worry about target share, touch distribution in that offense for Brandon Ayuk. He's going to have his weeks, but so is Debo. And you got George Kittle and you got Christian McCaffrey. So I bumped Ayuk down lower in my rankings than I normally have him this week because of all those factors. Still a top 30 wide receiver, though. DeAndre Hopkins or Keenan Allen? I think we're going to go Hopkins. Let's go Hopkins. You know what? I'm looking at my rankings, and actually I have Keenan Allen ranked 1 spot ahead of DeAndre Hopkins. I like the matchup better for Keenan Allen. It's hard to bench Hopkins, hard to bench Allen. My gut right now says Hopkins, but I usually trust my rankings when it's close like this because right now it's kind of in the moment more of a gut feel. when I'm making my rankings, I'm sitting down, thinking through these situations, thinking through these games, thinking through these matchups, game environment. And I went with Keenan Allen. And we talked earlier that if we have an opportunity to start a player going against the Miami Dolphins, we want to do it. So I'm talking myself into it right now. We're going to go Keenan Allen. We can't bench guys against the Dolphins. We can't do it. Can't do it. So Trey on YouTube, full PPR, start 2, Juju, Tyler Boyd, Devin Singletary, Jerry Jeudy, Rachaad White. We're going to start 2 of these guys. I'm forced to start Dulcich if that impacts Jeudy. Thanks and good luck today. Appreciate that, Trey. Trey is a weekly participant in this show. So we always going to get Trey's questions because he supports the show. So we got to support him. So we're starting 2 between Juju, Boyd, Singletary, Jeudy, and Rachaad White. So they're all kind of in that same bunch, in that same tier, right? In the rankings, if you had the flex rankings, I'm guessing in my rankings they're all pretty close. So I'm gonna go Rachaad White, and then I'm gonna go Juju. Juju is concerning because he hasn't really shown it yet coming off the concussion. He's had a couple of weeks back, and he hasn't really performed. But among all these other options, I'm the most confident in Juju's role, in Juju's quarterback, in Juju's offense. So I feel the most comfortable with Juju. I don't love any of them. And I know Jeudy, there's a lot of people who are on Jeudy this week. They're excited to start Jeudy with no Cortland Sutton. He's got a nice matchup against the Chiefs. Chiefs secondary isn't particularly great. And the Chiefs can be exploitable, partly because their offense is so good that, like we talked about earlier, with these offenses that are so good, the opposing offenses are more incentivized to drop back and throw. But when you look at the Broncos, thinking about them dropping back and throwing more is kind of concerning. That's not a good thing. They've been so bad. Russell Wilson's been so bad that I don't care that the target competition isn't really there. I can't, with a straight face, tell you to start Jerry Jeudy. I can't do it. And maybe I'll end up being wrong, but I trust Juju over Jeudy, and we're definitely going to go Rachaad White. We got another question on YouTube. Thoughts on P. Ryan since Mixon is back? Yeah, so we did talk about this briefly for a minute earlier, but it was kind of more through the lens of the Joe Mixon side of things. So P. Ryan has played really well. He has. P. Ryan's played really well in Mixon's absence. So I think he has earned more opportunity. He's definitely earned more opportunity in that offense, both as a runner and as a receiver out of the backfield. So he's going to play more than what he was doing before Mixon's injury. How much? That's to be determined. I think it's still going to be Joe Mixon's backfield, but I think this week in particular, we'll see especially more of P. Ryan. But I still think we'll see more Mixon. So P. Ryan could be, if you're in a desperate situation, need a flex, need an RB3, I'm comfortable with P. Ryan. I am. Especially because he does catch passes out of the backfield. We've seen it. They use him in the red zone as a receiver. They'll dump it off to him. So I'm comfortable. Let's see where we have him ranked. I think I have him ranked right around RB30. Let me pull up those running back rankings real quick. So he's definitely worth a start. He's not a must start. He's not like he was the last couple of weeks. But if you need an RB3, you need a flex play, You could definitely do a lot worse than Samaje Perine. I have him ranked as my RB34. RB34. Right at the same spot I have ranked Tony Jones, who is announced as the starter this morning for Seattle. So Perine's a decent start. He's decent. Another one from Austin on YouTube. He's asking Jeff Wilson or Brandon Ayuk in the flex. So we talked a few minutes ago about our concerns about Ayuk. We have ranked as the wide receiver 29. Jeff Wilson would have been the easy answer a week ago. I would have said, let's play Jeff Wilson. Let's do it. Especially against the Chargers, right? Which I think ultimately that's where we're going to come out. That's the conclusion of this. We're going to go Jeff Wilson. But there are some concerns because when Jeff Wilson came in to Miami from San Francisco at the trade deadline, he immediately took over that backfield. He was outplaying, out-touching, out-snapping, and outperforming Raheem Mostert. And then all of a sudden, last week, out of absolute nowhere, Raheem Mostert comes in. He played 61% of the snaps, right? Is that what it is? I got it right here in front of me. I'm searching for it. 61% of the snaps. Jeff Wilson played 37%. That was the first time that Mostert had out-snapped Wilson since Wilson arrived in Miami at the trade deadline. So is that where they're going now? Are they going back to Mostert? Are we going to see it kind of reverse again? Back to Jeff? I don't know. So that's tough. That's risky. But I think they'll both be involved. And like I said, the Chargers cannot stop the run. And I don't think they're going to be able to stop the pass either. Derwin James is out this week. They're banged up in the secondary. So they're going to be a mess on that defense against the run and against the pass. Could be a lot of points scored in that game. I'm going to go Jeff Wilson over Brandon Ayuk. Long story for a short answer. All right, let's help out Kevin here. Kevin's asking, he needs a sleeper wide receiver. I don't think I can start Elijah Moore with this weather, full PPR. I mean, weather, no weather, perfect football conditions. Are we really trusting Elijah Moore anyway? No. So who we got? So Kevin's asking, should he drop Elijah Moore for somebody in the Pats or Arizona game like a Greg Dortch, Devontae Parker, Tyquan Thornton? So my answer would be yes. I'd rather have, I mean, it's very close. I have nothing, I want no interest, nothing to do with Tyquan Thornton. You can toss him out. But as far as Dortch has played well when when Rondale Moore has been out and Dortch himself has been healthy. Dortch has performed well. And then we saw a couple weeks back when Jacoby Myers was out, which he's out this week, Devontae Parker had a pretty decent game. I believe that was a Bailey Zappi game, though. Maybe it wasn't. So it comes down to me, Elijah Moore, Devontae Parker, Greg Dortch. Now, we also got to consider that with Dortch, Mostert's, why do I keep calling him Raheem Mostert? Rondale Moore is out, but when he was productive earlier in the season, he was only competing with targets with Marquise Brown. DeAndre Hopkins wasn't there yet. Now he's got Brown and Hopkins. But there's no Zach Ertz anymore. So I think I would go Greg Dortch there. Greg Dortch seems like he's back healthy. I do have him ranked ahead of Elijah Moore. I also do have Devontae Parker ranked ahead of Greg Dortch going against Arizona. So I know this is not very helpful. I'm all over the place with this question. I think I really just don't have a strong opinion, strong feel about any of these guys. When I made the rankings, I would have said Devontae Parker. Right now, in my gut, I'm saying Greg Dortch. I think we got to go Dortch. All right. We got like 1 more minute. So let's stay focused and actually go rapid fire like I keep saying we're going to do. And then I get off on these long tangents. Hollywood Brown or Devontae Smith? Let's go Hollywood Brown. Mike White or Tom Brady? Let's go. Shit. Let's go Tom Brady. Travis Homer or James Cook? We're going to go James Cook. Should I start DeAndre Hopkins or Garrett Wilson in the flex? You got to find a way to start them both. If I had to choose, I think we'd go Garrett Wilson. Travis Homer or James Cook? Did we just answer this? James Cook. Start 2. Keenan Allen, CeeDee Lamb, Garrett Wilson, Amari Cooper. Let's go Lamb and let's go Keenan Allen, but I hate to bench Garrett Wilson. Thielen or Foreman? Give me Deontay Foreman. Debo or Jamar or both? Both. Hello. If you have a choice, but you can start both of those guys. Why aren't you? If I had to choose, it's Jamar Chase. Lockett or DeAndre Hopkins? Let's go with DeAndre Hopkins. Hollywood, Devontae Smith, Debo, Gabe Davis. Pick 2 of these guys. Let's go Debo and let's go Hollywood Brown. Rashad White or Leonard Fournette? Let's go Rashad White. Start 2. We already answered this question. We're going to go Keenan Allen and CeeDee Lamb. Singletary, good start this week. Not particularly. Nope. Pacheco, Najee, Jamal Williams. Pick 2 of these guys. Let's go Pacheco and let's go Najee Harris. Because Jamal Williams, he played a season low 30% of the snaps last week. I think DeAndre Swift is taking that backfield back over. And Justin Jackson isn't going away either, unfortunately. Dulcich or Everett for tight end, we're definitely going Gerald Everett, like we talked about earlier. If we can play anybody that's catching passes against the Miami Dolphins, we are going to do it. So give me Gerald Everett over Greg Dulcich. Yeah, I think that's a good place to stop. Kind of a scatterbrain episode this time. Sorry about that. But we'll be back on Wednesday. We're going to talk Dynasty like we always do. Dynasty game plan of the week. If you're into sports betting or you're going to get into it, check out BetUS. Use our promo code YARDSPER. You get a 125% deposit bonus when you sign up. Highly recommend doing that. Why wouldn't you? Why would you pass up free money? That's BetUS. Promo code YARDSPER. You can use that same promo code at Underdog Fantasy. Start drafting playoff best ball teams. You can draft weekly teams every single week. Like DFS and snake draft form, basically. Underdog Fantasy promo code YARDSPER. Appreciate it, everybody. See you back here on Wednesday.